Thank you. Good morning. I am Mark, and this is my wife, Shallon. We are from the Appalachian Homestead. We're going to talk to you about something serious this morning. Something catastrophic happened last summer in eastern Kentucky, southwest Virginia. So it's going to be a serious subject, and if you know anything about the Appalachian Homestead, you knew it was going to be a serious subject when you saw me wearing a shirt with sleeves. So I wore my dress-up shirt, honey.
Thank you. Thank you for doing that. So on this stage, we are here to update you on the fund raised here last year for flood relief for our neighbors in Letcher County, Kentucky. Down below, near the first tent, we're here to teach you open fire canning. So that's what we're doing here at this event today. So let's talk about Kentucky. On July 28, 2022, following 25 days of daily rainfall, an additional 6 inches of rain fell between the hours of midnight and 6 a.m., and then continued for the rest of that day at the rate of ½ inch per hour. On the previous day, July 27th at 10 p.m., the North Fork of the Kentucky River was just above its normal 2-foot depth at 4 feet. 12 hours later, at 10 a.m. on Thursday, July 28th, it crested at over 20 feet, beating previous flood records by more than 5 feet. 40 people lost their lives, and more than 10,000 homes were destroyed. In one county alone, our neighboring county, Letcher County, Kentucky, 2,990 homes were destroyed. Letcher County was ground zero for the worst of that flood event. It is also one of the poorest counties, not just in the state of Kentucky, but in this nation. Today, there are still dozens of families who are displaced, living in campers and tents, and some living in bedrooms of homes of friends or neighbors who managed to rebuild already. They're scraping to try to rebuild their lives. And with a mostly elderly population in Letcher County, mostly only relying on Social Security income, the sad reality of this is that many will never be able to rebuild without your help.
As you can see, Miss Ambergy there, she has climbed on the highest point in her bedroom that she can climb, and it's still starting to encompass her before she was rescued.
So this was her second floor bedroom, and she had gathered up as many of the things that she could onto her bed to try to save them. Through the generosity of you all who donated last year and online, and thanks to Plain Values magazine, who covered the flood in Kentucky and published an article, we were able to raise $45,000. The first purchases made with these donations were 2 automatic electronic defibrillators. These life-saving devices are carried in each patrol vehicle in this very remote community, and they can make a significant difference in the outcomes of medical emergencies for their population.
And if you caught that, both AEDs, 2 of them, a total of 2 went in both of their patrol cars. That's all they have. They have 2 patrol car force. So that officer, as a law enforcement officer myself, the first thing that pops in my head, somebody's working by themselves a lot.
Yep.
They're relying on other agencies to get there. So if they don't have these tools in their car, like an AED, it could mean life or death.
So those were the first 2 purchases made were for those 2 AEDs. And then additionally, we were able to purchase flotation devices, which may have saved lives had they been available during that flood event, as well as emergency throw ropes for the event, in the event that this happens again. These were purchased in memory of young Mr. Abraham Yoder. His memory lives on not just in the hearts of you all here in Holmes County, but also in your neighbors in central Appalachia, just a few hours from here. His legacy has touched the lives of everyone in that community, and we thank you. The first large dispersal for home rebuilding was made February 15th of this year to Heritage Ministries. Heritage Ministries Director Mr. Jeff Sims has served the Tri-County area for nearly 2 decades. Jeff uses his construction background to help those in the community who are attempting to rebuild after home fires or flooding, or even the elderly who are in need of handicapped ramps. With the funds received here last year, Jeff has built tiny homes for a couple of people. The first one is an exceptional gentleman named Mac and his niece and grandmother. Mac and his niece live with his grandmother as they are unable to live alone. Jeff was able to nearly complete their tiny home and hopes to have it done by August. Another project that Jeff has done is for an elderly widow by the name of Miss Rosie. Her home was utterly destroyed. Jeff built a tiny 1-bedroom cabin for her, and then he proceeded to use the funds that were sent from here to mud out and gut out and restore the home that had been destroyed by this flood, and it is nearing completion. There are a few things that she lacks, and the number one of those is that her well pump was destroyed. And so Miss Rosie, who is an elderly woman, is carrying buckets of water from the river below her house in each day to use as the water in her home. So we've been praying earnestly for a connection to be made that would lead to the donation of a solar well pump for her. The week after the initial funds were dispersed, your very own Mr. Seth Yoder, I don't know if he's here, from Plain Values magazine, came down to visit with us and brought his brother-in-law, Mr. Chip Keim. They came to visit us and learn about our area and our culture and to survey the damage and devastation that still lingered 7 months post-flood. Chip immediately came home, assembled a team, and went back and began working on the home of Miss Rosie. A few weeks later, another team from Ohio, led by Mr. Ryan Miller, also arrived to help to work on Miss Rosie's home. Across the next several weeks, more teams are expected to arrive to assist in finishing these rebuilds and begin a third tiny home to meet the needs of yet another family. The needs pile high, and yet God heaps grace upon grace through the kindness and generosity of you all and our online community as they continue to send financial assistance to Heritage Ministries. If you feel led to assist in these endeavors, you can donate by visiting heritagemen.org, that's heritagemen.org, or mailing a donation to P.O. Box 821, Lynch, Lynch, Kentucky 40855. We'd like to express our heartfelt thanks to John Miller, who coordinated the fundraising endeavor and connected us with all of the many sponsors and donors here, such as Marcus Wingard and Marlon from Plain Values, and Dave, and the many businesses who sponsor this event and make it possible for us to stand on the stage and give you this update. Thank you, John.
Come see us down here. We're going to be open fire canning, red beets. Come see us. We're right there. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.